Today, I will be talking about the most recent licensed killer to have entered the fog in Dead by Daylight and how you can use him to his full potential. The first, also known as Vecna, has 3 different parts to his ability, which I will cover separately throughout the video with some tips on how to counter him towards the end for Survivor players. First, we have his Vine attack. His Vine attack is a good long-range attack that, if hit, adds a token onto your WorldBreaker special ability, or if WorldBreaker is already active, it deals 1 health save damage towards the survivor. This attack can be very strong, especially if you can predict where survivors are or are going to go. This attack can also be used to redirect survivors. What I mean by this is if they're going into an area of the map that benefits them, you can use your Vine attack to make them dodge it, leading them away from that area. However, you should always be mindful when using your Vine attack. This is because when you aim your attack, it slows you down, so overusing and missing this attack will allow the survivor to gain distance on you. The Upside Down allows you to go underground, which is an additional source of mobility, allowing you to travel around the map at a faster speed. Whilst in the Upside Down, you'll be able to phase underneath windows, pallets, and breakable walls, which can be useful if a survivor is looping you around an area such as Shack. When exiting the Upside Down, you will have to activate your Undergate attack, which creates a big radius, and if survivor is caught in the radius, it will give them 2 tokens instantly activating your WorldBreaker special ability. This seems very powerful. However, the radius is very noticeable, and there is also a delay for the Undergate attack to hit the survivor, so if you're in an open space, the survivor can very easily escape. To use this attack effectively, you should use the attack when you're in a small, closed-off area where the survivor will struggle to exit the radius. You could also activate Undergate whilst behind an object, such as a wall, so that the survivor won't be able to see your Undergate until it's too late, allowing you to gain tokens for your WorldBreaker. Or, if you're in chase, you can use your Undergate attack as they vault a window or a pallet, so they won't have enough time to run away unless they have finesse or life. WorldBreaker is Vecna's special ability, and it will activate after a survivor has reached 2 tokens, which will then last for 4 minutes, where your Vine attack and Undergate will deal damage towards survivors. This is a great time to damage survivors that are together, as your Undergate will damage all survivors caught in its radius. However, grandfather clocks around the map can reduce the time of your WorldBreaker by 15 to 60 seconds, depending on how long the survivors spend on the clock. These clocks are highlighted in white, so if you believe someone is on one of them, you can hit them with your Vine attack whilst they can't see you, so then you can surprise them, making them scared and more predictable. In Dead by Daylight, Vecna thrives off predictability. His Vine attack will need you to either know exactly where the survivor is or predict where they'll move next. It's good to remember that survivors are notified with an audio notification when you do a Vine attack, so predicting where they'll move when they hear this can help you land the hit. However, survivors can also see the vines come up from the floor before they hit, but it is unlikely for them to rely on this because the time between the vines appearing and hitting is very short and will need them to look at the ground, diverting their attention from you. To help you predict where survivors will be, aura reading perks are one of the best ways to understand how the survivors are moving. Here is one of the best aura builds for Vecna. Lethal Pursuer is a Nemesis perk that allows you to see the aura of all survivors at the beginning of the game. This is very useful for beginning chase as soon as possible. However, its secondary ability is the main reason why I use this perk. This adds an additional 2 seconds of aura reading to all of your perks, which proves to be very beneficial for aura reading builds. Predator is a great perk for Vecna because it allows you to see the survivor's aura when you lose chase with them for 6 seconds. With Lethal Pursuer, this increases the time to 8 seconds, so this almost guarantees you to get back into chase or use your Vine attack when they're not expecting it. You may have seen the aura of survivors hiding behind this rock. This is because of the perk A Nurse's Calling. This reveals the aura of all survivors healing within a 28-meter radius. This proves to be very beneficial, especially when you want to pressure survivors and stop them from healing. Finally, we have Barbecue and Chili. Barbecue and Chili is a bubba perk that allows you to see survivors' auras for 4 seconds when they're outside of a 14-meter radius after hooking another survivor. With Lethal Pursuer, this increases that time to 6 seconds, which gives you additional time to see where survivors far away are, likely working on generators, allowing you to pressure them and the gens. Finally, we have How to Counter Vecna. For survivors, countering Vecna can seem pretty difficult at first, but when you understand what to do to achieve a successful chase against him, it will become a lot simpler. The first and most important tip to counter Vecna is to not be predictable. You may think, how do I do this? And the answer is pretty simple. To not be predictable, you can first switch up your playstyle during the game. For example, if you tend to greed pallets, towards the end of the game, you could go more for stuns, which the killer won't expect because they thought you greed pallets. Another way to counter Vecna is by staying in open areas. For example, if you're playing against Vecna in a map such as the game, spending most of your time downstairs can be very dangerous, and this is because there aren't many straight paths to run away from his Undergate attack. So instead of playing downstairs, you can complete the generators upstairs instead, which is a lot safer due to it being a lot more open.